What's going on, everyone? It's Young Man. Today is October 24th, 2025. I appreciate you clicking on the video. I appreciate everybody's support. Today we're going to be talking about Metaplanet, strategy, and Bitcoin. These are the three topics that I've been talking about, and I'm going to continue talking about them because it's my opinion that we're at the start of a very significant point in technological innovation, and we're at the beginning of an integration of a technology on a scale that we haven't seen, or at least I haven't seen. I would say it's similar to the internet, similar to electricity, similar to refining oil. It's a source of energy is what's happening. It's an energy transfer. And whenever there's an energy transfer, the world is reshaped. That's what happens. We saw it happen with the internet. Daily life for everybody was changed when the innovation that is the internet became adopted on a large scale. And that's what I believe is happening with Bitcoin right now. I believe it's becoming an important piece of the financial systems. And what that's going to do is it's going to become an important piece of everybody's life. I think we're at the start of this process. I think it's a common mistake people make to believe that we are not at the start, that they somehow missed the boat. In my daily conversations with people that haven't researched Bitcoin, or at least haven't researched it very much, what I usually hear when I talk about it with them is that they believe that they're late. They believe that it's not valuable for them to look into Bitcoin or to invest in Bitcoin treasury companies because they think that the money has already been made. They hear about these people who were buying Bitcoin in 2012, in 2015, who made some money, and they think, oh, well, it's been 10, 15 years since then, so the money's already been made. I miss my chance. That is not the case. It's not even close to the case. I'll use Apple as an example. Apple was a revolutionary company. They introduced a technology that was revolutionary, the iPhone. I'm recording this video on the iPhone right now. They made a product better than everybody else, and they capitalized on an innovation earlier than everybody else, and they changed the way that people live. That's what Apple did. The share price of Apple was in the single digits in 2006, 2007, and possibly into 2008. Single digits. So you could be buying shares of Apple for $5, less than a sandwich. You could be buying some Apple shares, and the people that were doing that and never sold those shares, they became very wealthy. Fast forward to 2012, 2013, 2014, there were people who believed they missed their chance to buy Apple shares. Apple's now trading at 25, 30 bucks in the mid 2015 timeframe. 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. Apple's trading between 20 and 40 bucks. And there are people who know about it. They know it's revolutionary. They've watched Steve Jobs give his talks, and they think, oh, well, I guess I got to wait for the next Apple because my neighbor bought it when it was at $6 a share and he 10x'd his money. I'm not going to be able to do that. That's what people's minds tell them. It's the doubtful voice in your head that says, you can't change your life. You're late. If you would have been early, you could have. That happens. It's unit bias. It's cognitive dissonance is what it is. What happened 10 years later is Apple 10x'd again. Because we don't live in this linear world. Our brains use linear models. 1 + 1 is 2. And then +1 is 3. And we want to believe that growth happens like this. A straight linear line up. Like an algebra class. But a month later in algebra class, you learned about exponential functions and logarithms and these other trends that don't look like this. That is how the world works. The world doesn't work 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. That's not how it works. It works like this. If I drop a pebble in a lake, on a still lake, it creates a ripple. The distance between the lines of each ripple, it's not that the second is 1 bigger than the first, and the third is 2 bigger than the first, and the fourth is 3 bigger than the first. That would be a linear model. But no, what we observe in the physical world is it's not that. The distance between each line gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when you go out 8 or 9 ripples, the distance is massive. It's not 8 of the first length of the ripple. It's an exponential trend because vibrations make the world up. We live within vibrations, and we live within models that are not linear. But our brain wants to believe that everything happens in linear trends. It's not the case. Bitcoin has not grown linearly. It went from $1 to $10 to $100 to $1,000 to $10,000, and now we're at $100,000. What makes you believe it's not going to go from $100,000 to $1 million? Why would that not happen? That's going to happen. So don't think that you missed the 10x. Don't think that, oh, it's already at $100,000. It'll have to grow so much. It'll take so long for it to reach $1 million. No, it won't. It's going to do that. And then when it's at $10 million, it's probably going to go to $100 million. We're not late. The people who are late are my great grandkids. They might be late. I could maybe get behind the case that, oh, they kind of missed the opportunity to make a lot of money on Bitcoin. That might be the case. You, 15 years after the innovation was created, are not late. You were extremely early. What's going to hurt is that if you know about it and you're convinced you're late, and then you choose to not do anything about it, and then it's 10 years later, and then you have to go buy some Bitcoin at $10 million a coin, and you have to put a significant amount of money to get 0.00001 coin. That might kind of hurt. What won't hurt is just biting the bullet and saying, all right, maybe I'm kind of late. I'm later than I would have liked to be, but I'm going to invest some money in this new technology that I might not understand, but I'm going to set my ego aside and do the research and check it out, and maybe I'm not late. That's what I think people should do. That's not financial advice, but the way things move into time is not linear. That it's just not. So we're not late, we're early. And to give even more of a reason why we're early is these Bitcoin treasury companies that I talk about, Metaplanet and Strategy. They weren't created 15 years ago. Metaplanet started buying Bitcoin a year and a half ago. You want to talk about early? I buy shares of Metaplanet that cost less than my cup of coffee. Less. This cup of coffee does not get me what a share of Metaplanet gets me. A share of Metaplanet gets me ownership in a company that is going to own time. It's what I talked about yesterday. Bitcoin is a measure of time. It's a true measure of time. And these companies are going to have more than everyone else of it. So the value is going to continue to grow for a very long time. So when I open my phone and I look at the price of Metaplanet and I see $2.90, nothing about that tells me I'm late. We are early to this innovation. People thought they were late to the internet. People thought they were late to electricity. People thought they were late to refining oil. People thought that they were late to the automobile. There's all these very significant innovations and technologies that come out and change the way that we live. And something about the way our minds are designed and the way that we've existed without these technologies wants us to believe that we're either late or that this thing isn't going to go in the direction that it's going to go. That's the way it works. That's why I go around trying to talk about Bitcoin and trying to talk about Metaplanet and trying to talk about strategy, because there was a moment for me when it clicked that this is actually what it appears to be on the surface. It's actually that, and it's more than that. And there was a point in time when I didn't believe that it is what it is. And so I try to go around saying like, hey, check this thing out, because it's either you check it out now or you check it out later. And you can really provide a lot of value to your life if you're earlier than later. And the only thing that's going to keep you from being earlier is if you believe that you're late and then you just try to write it off. You can try to write something like Bitcoin off and it won't go over well. Because not only is there benefits of adopting an innovation early, there are downsides of not adopting an innovation early enough. The world is being reshaped around you, and you can be a part of it, or you can deny that it's being reshaped until it doesn't include you in its plans. That's what's scary. That's why I make these videos. It's not just that the people that adopt the innovation will have their life enhanced. It's that the people that don't, there might be problems for them that occur as a result of that. I could be wrong. None of this is financial advice, but I think that if a trend gains the momentum, the type of momentum that Bitcoin has gained, it might be wise to look into it. And Metaplanet started doing what they're doing a year and a half ago. Strategy started doing what they're doing 5 years ago. We're not late. We're extremely early. I appreciate you guys listening. This one went a bit longer than I wanted it to, but it's okay because I'm not late. I'm early. I appreciate you guys.